Starting off with the worst hero in the game, we got the Hero Musketeer. She's going to be going in D tier. There's no F tier in this hero ranking because all the heroes are viable and at least somewhat decent. The Musketeer, though, is the worst one because after she got a couple nerfs since her initial release, she has proven to just be the least valuable among the heroes and the least versatile. You pretty much can only use her inside of 2.6. Even Loon Cycle typically prefers running the regular Musketeer and using other evolutions and heroes or just the evolved Musketeer. Only good in 2.6, and her ability being 3 elixir just makes her the most challenging to use among the other heroes that have a much cheaper ability, being only 2 or 1 elixir. The hero Mini P.E.K.K.A, guys, is going to be next. Ever since the Mini P.E.K.K.A ended up getting a pretty big nerf to the amount of healing it gets, and also the standard Mini P.E.K.K.A got a nerf which impacted the hero. It's been a lot worse ever since, and you're pretty much only seeing it maybe with the Giant or the Golem, but even inside of those decks, a lot of times people prefer using other options, so definitely a weaker hero among the others. C tier, we're going to start off with the Giant. So there's a couple win condition heroes now. We have the Giant and the Balloon. The Giant among the two is a little weaker because I feel like the Giant as a win condition itself is a weaker win condition compared to the Balloon. They both kind of have situational abilities. The Giant one in some matchups, it might be beneficial, knocking a P.E.K.K.A into the other lane, for example, or a good counter to your Giant that's heavy, but other matchups it could be completely useless. So it's really matchup dependent, and it's going to not be extremely versatile either because a lot of the other heroes are support cards, so they can fit in a lot of different decks. Giant, it's pretty much only going to be good inside of Giant Graveyard or maybe some off meta Giant deck, or if you want to maybe run a Giant, double Prince deck or something, but a lot of people might prefer running something like the Hero Mega Minion over the Giant, for example, as well. The Ice Golem will be next. The Ice Golem, slightly better than the Giant in my opinion, but the Ice Golem did get a pretty big nerf in the last balance change where no longer it has knockback. So a couple months ago, they nerfed basically the final freeze duration that the Ice Golem had. It got reduced by quite a lot, and it doesn't freeze as long, but now it's not doing any knockback, so definitely a lot worse. On defense especially, that knockback was really noticeable against things like a Balloon or maybe a Hog Rider, and you're just not going to see that anymore. So I think it's just a little worse. Still very good, though, inside of something maybe 2.6, though, or Loon Cycle. It'll be a solid hero still for sure. The Balloon, this is a little bit of a prediction because this is brand new. I really think the Hero Balloon, they did a very good job with this hero because I don't think it's trash, but I don't think it's broken either. This might be the best hero they've done so far on release in terms of balancing it. B tier, we could say B tier is balanced, right? Kind of a joke, but literally it is pretty balanced because I think the ability being 2 elixir, makes it, you have to think when you use it. You can't just spam it. If it was 1 elixir, it'd be broken. I was hoping when I saw the teaser for it, it wasn't 1 elixir because I knew it would be broken. It dropping that unit and it dealing splash damage as well and having a decent amount of health, it would be absurdly broken for 1 elixir. But the fact that it's 2 elixir, I think it's going to be situational, but because the Balloon is a good win condition compared to the Giant, which is a little weaker as a win condition, I think that means the hero itself is going to at least be average. You can't spam it, but against buildings especially, maybe someone uses a Goblin Hut to counter your Balloon. It's going to be really useful in those types of scenarios for allowing you to have a much better chance of breaking through buildings, but in some matchups, if you're against a bunch of tanks, for example, it's not really going to do much, so it's going to be situational. The Hero Wizard did not get nerfed in the last set of balance changes where a lot of the other strong heroes did, so I think this is going to make the Hero Wizard a little bit better. I notice that in bridge spam decks, especially with the Battle Ram and the Royal Hogs, it's so strong. That 1 elixir ability you get in the Tornadoes, it's just really, really solid, not just on defense, but also on offense as well, just allowing it to jump up and dodge things like Bar Barrel, Log, and just immune to ground units in general for only 1 elixir too is just so good in double and triple elixir because you can just spam the ability pretty much every time. And the only drawback of it is you do have to worry about King Tower activations because if someone knows what they're doing, they can get that King Tower activated easily, and that is a little bit of an issue sometimes with the Hero Wizard, especially because you do typically see it in ground decks, and that's also why you wouldn't be able to make it work in a graveyard deck typically because of that King activation potential. The Hero Mega Minion got a small nerf where it takes longer to target now on the first unit when deployed, giving people more time to react. This has made it a little worse, but I still think it's a very good hero, and especially in lava decks and giant decks, we're going to be seeing it a lot. I wouldn't even be surprised if some people use the Hero Balloon and the Hero Mega Minion in the same deck because I feel like they have good synergy, and then maybe they'll just use the Evo Zap if they want to do that in their lava deck, for example, but in beatdown decks, especially Golem as well, I think it's still going to be a very good hero, especially if people are still using the Hero Magic Archer, which I'm going to put next. I still think even though the Hero Magic Archer is 2 elixir now instead of 1, the ability, it's still a very strong card. I think that you just can't spam the ability every single time now, but now it's still going to be solid, just not broken in S tier. I think that knockback it gets just jumping back so far and that long shot is still so beneficial, especially in double and triple elixir. I think as the match progresses, you're going to be able to use that ability more. It's still pretty versatile, especially in bridge spam decks with the P.E.K.K.A. For example, I think it's going to be played a lot. Also with Royal Hogs, I still think it'll be viable because the Evolved Royal Hogs did not get nerfed, of course, and even in some minor decks and just bridge spam in general. So I think it's versatile enough for it to still be an above average hero for sure. I think, though, the Hero Goblins are slightly better than the Hero Magic Archer, even though they got a small nerf where they spawn a tile back now when they die. I just think they're a very versatile hero. You can make them work inside of things like Hog X NATO, where you're seeing them a lot. Goblin Drill decks, they're going to be very good in. Even heavier decks with Lava Hound, of course, you'll sometimes see them in. Log Bait decks, Mortar decks, they're a very, very versatile hero, and I think that's just the main appeal for the Hero Goblins, why they're just a well above average hero, because you can just fit them in so many different things. The ability is only 1 elixir. It's just really low risk in general, just a great hero all around. The Hero Barbarian. Now, I know a lot of casuals do not think that this hero is very good, but let me tell you guys, so many pro players were calling for this hero to get a nerf, even some of the best ones in the world, like Lucas X Gamer, Morton, and I think even Mohammed Light were like, why the hell did this card not get a nerf? And I have to agree with them because this card is very versatile, just like the Hero Goblins, but I think even more so because pretty much everyone running the Barbarrel is just going to want to use the Hero Barbarrel if they have the Barbarrel already in their deck, and it's kind of less of a reason to use Log as well. The ability is only 1 elixir. It heals. I think the healing aspect is what's really good. It heals so much, so it almost always forces a response out of your opponent for only 1 elixir, so it's very good on defense as well as offense. It's just going to be very good inside of Royal Giant decks. You can use it inside of bridge spam decks. It's really good with like the Giant Skeleton, the Graveyard, the Battle Ram, the Royal Hogs. You could even use it in cheaper decks. I even see some people maybe running it inside of their Log Bait deck, their Mortar deck, going to be good in Golem, right? Maybe Electro Giant. Just so many different decks and archetypes. Doesn't matter if it's Cycle, Beatdown, Control, whatever, you can use it in just about anything, and maybe the healing percentage needs to be reduced a little bit. I think that that's why the card is very solid, because of how much it heals, or maybe the rolling distance, they could reduce it by half a tile on the second roll. But the Hero Knight, I do believe, is the best hero in the game. Now, it did get a small nerf in the last set of balance changes, but it was a kind of, all things considered, a small nerf. Kind of like how the taunt radius was nerfed by 1 tile, but the radius was so large to begin with, 7.5 tiles. They nerfed the taunt duration, where before it almost taunted for about a second, so even if you played a card late, it would still taunt that card if you played it a little too soon after the taunt. When defending, now that doesn't happen because the taunt only lasts like 0.1 second instead of 0.7. I still think, though, it is the best hero in the game as things currently stand, because I just think that 2 elixir ability is so valuable, and you can almost, in a way, especially in double and triple elixir, spam it almost every time, especially because of that shield you're getting. I also think just the synergy it has in certain decks. I was kind of talking about that with the Barbarrel, but I think it really so much applies to the Knight as well, where you can use it in so many different cycle decks, whether it's something like Hog or a Goblin Drill deck, a Mortar deck. That taunt effect is just going to be so good, especially Expo. Expo pairs exceptionally well in. Also Graveyard. It's also the reason why the Evolution Knight is so bad now. Everyone is just using the Hero Knight over the Evo Knight. There's pretty much no reason to use the Evolution form anymore, and it's also going to be very good with the Balloon as well. That's another good synergy you might sometimes see the knight in. So this is my hero ranking. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. You can use creator code BOSS to support me in any Supercell game, and let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this list. What do you agree and disagree with? Thanks again. Until next time, guys.